Hi, my name is Avery Bailey, and today I'll be exercising and trying to determine my estimated lactate threshold. But before I do that, I'm going to define some terms and give some background information. So VO2 max measures how efficient your cardiorespiratory system is at delivering oxygen to your muscles and how efficient your muscles are at utilizing that oxygen. When you break it down, VO2 max is equal to cardiac input times the arterial venous difference of oxygen in the muscle. Broken down farther, cardiac input is stroke volume times your heart rate, and then all of that multiplied by the arterial venous difference. Experts say that in order to increase your VO2 max, it's important to concentrate on your stroke volume because that's one of the most trainable factors of VO2 max. And one way to do that is by utilizing interval training. According to Dr. Yo, one of his protocols that he suggests to people is to exercise in zone 5 for 1 minute and then rest for 1 minute, bringing your heart rate back down to zone 1. He suggests doing this for 10-minute intervals and repeating as many times as necessary until you are completely exhausted, and this should bring your VO2 max up. The benefits of training in zone 5 is because it is known to help increase your VO2 max. And the goal of this is to be able to remain in zone 5 for longer periods of time before you need a break. The lactate threshold is defined as the intensity of exercise at which lactate begins to accumulate in the blood at a faster rate than it can be removed. And how lactate builds up in the blood is when we start going into anaerobic respiration, then we start having a buildup of lactic acid, and that usually leads to fatigue of our muscles. The lactate threshold for unfit individuals is around 60% of their maximal heart rate, while the lactate threshold of very fit people can get up to 90% of their maximal heart rate. According to Dr. Yo, a beneficial training program is to remain in zone 4 for 4 minutes and then rest in zone 1 for 1 minute. He suggests doing this at 15-minute intervals and then repeating until you're exhausted. And the benefits of training in zone 4 is because it has been shown to increase lactate threshold. And so now I'm going to begin my exercise. I am about to start the warm-up portion of my workout. I chose to do Module 2, where I will be warming up for 10 minutes, walking at a 3, and then I will run for 2 minutes and then walk vigorously for 2 minutes until my 30 minutes is up. My heart rate at the end of my warm-up is 119 beats per minute, and I'm about to start my 2-minute run at a level 6. I just finished my first running interval, so at the end of 12 minutes of this workout, my heart rate was at 197. I just finished my first walking interval, so at the end of minute 14, my heart rate was at a 144 beats per minute. At the end of minute 14, my heart rate was at a 188 beats per minute. Just kidding. At the end of minute 16, my heart rate was at 188 beats per minute. At the end of 18 minutes, my heart rate was at 124 beats per minute. My heart rate at the end of 20 minutes was 182 beats per minute. My heart rate at 22 minutes is 152 beats per minute. My heart rate at the end of minute 24 is 127 beats. At the end of minute 26 is 124 beats per minute. My heart rate at the end of 28 minutes is 135 beats per minute. Heart rate at the end of the workout is 150 beats per minute. Okay, so just as an overview of my exercise, I chose to do the option 2, where I did a 10-minute warm-up at level 3 on the treadmill, and then I alternated running and walking at a 6 and then a 3.5. And so my heart rate at the beginning or at the end of my warm-up was 119 beats per minute. I'm not sure how accurate that was. I used a treadmill to measure my heart rate. I also think I might have been a little anxious because I was videoing myself, but that was at the end of my warm-up. Then after my first run, I had a heart rate of 197 beats per minute. And then after my first session of walking, I had 144 beats per minute. And then 188 beats per minute, 124 beats per minute, 182 beats per minute, 152 beats per minute, which was kind of high for a walking cycle, so I'm not sure what happened there. And then 127 beats per minute, and that was a running cycle, so I'm also not sure if that was accurate or if my body just became more accustomed as we got farther through. Then I had 124 beats per minute, 135 beats per minute, and then at the end my heart rate was at 150 beats per minute. Still not quite sure why it was that high at the end after my 2-minute walk, but that's what the treadmill said. So when I averaged them together, it was 149 beats per minute. So after calculating my average heart rate, I was able to see what my estimated lactate threshold was, and that's about 75% of my maximum heart rate, which is not great, but it's not horrible. And the question asked if I feel like this was indicative of zone 4 training, and I think that I could have pushed a little harder into that zone 4, not quite into zone 5, but I think I could have maybe ran a little harder or walked a little faster. Another reason that I think this is because my heart rate was only 75% average of my maximum heart rate, and zone 4 is between 80 and 89% of your average heart rate. And so after this test, I think I would use my estimated lactate threshold as a baseline to maybe start increasing my lactate threshold. I think that next time I might try and use Dr. Yo's protocol and remain in zone 4 for 4 minutes and then rest for 1 minute and repeat that until exhausted, and maybe get a more accurate of a test, maybe use different supplies to check my heart rate. I think that maybe the treadmill did okay, but still there were some readings that I thought were a little weird. Other than that, I do think that I put forth good effort. I just hope to be more accurate next time and then hopefully improve my lactate threshold from here.